My wife
I
didn't
have to
cry
go.
when she said she had met
Wait,
someone
don't just
else.
leave like this.
She looked
I
relieved.
can't pretend
and
anymore.
somehow,
Is this really
that
what you
hurt more
want?
than
It's what I
anything she
need.
could have said.
We have to
Her
leave.
name is Eleanor
Now.
Whitfield.
I know.
We live
Are
in
you
a
sure
quiet
about this?
neighborhood
It's
in
the only way.
Greenwich,
Let's go.
Connecticut, where nothing
All right,
ever
I'm
seemed
right
to
behind
break
you.
on the surface. Our neighbors smiled. Our
You're
dinners
late.
were scheduled.
Again.
Our
I
lives
know,
looked
I'm sorry.
intact.
Traffic was awful.
But something had been
You always
slipping
say
for
that.
months.
This time
Not
it's true.
loudly,
Let's just go.
not dramatically.
Fine.
Just
But this is the
quietly
last
enough
time.
that I convinced myself
I wish I
it was
didn't have to
temporary.
go.
I'm Daniel
I know.
Whitfield. I
I'll
manage
miss
a
you.
private
Call me
equity
when you can.
portfolio,
Every day, I promise.
which means I understand
I love
risk.
you.
Or at
Safe
least
travels.
I thought I did. That night, Eleanor stood in the doorway of our bedroom with her arms folded, not defensive, just resolved. She said she had met someone. She said she needed space. She said it like she had already rehearsed it 100 times in her head. And I didn't interrupt her. I didn't ask questions. I didn't raise my voice. I just said, I hope he brings you the peace you couldn't find here. She blinked at me, like she expected resistance, like she needed me to fight for her so she wouldn't have to feel guilty for leaving. But I didn't give her that. She packed a suitcase that same night. Not everything, just enough to make it real. As the door closed behind her, the house didn't feel empty. It felt exposed. The silence wasn't loud. It was precise. I walked into the kitchen and poured myself a glass of water I didn't drink. I stood there longer than I needed to, because for the first time in years, I didn't know what came next. The next morning, I woke up before my alarm. The other side of the bed was still slightly warm, but already unfamiliar. There were no dramatic messages. No apologies. Just a single text. I need time. I stared at it longer than I should have. Not because I didn't understand it, but because I understood it too well. Time wasn't for us. It was for her to leave without saying the word leave. At the office, I functioned like nothing had changed. Meetings, calls, numbers. Everything moved forward, except me. That afternoon, my colleague, Reed Calloway, asked if I wanted to grab lunch. I almost said no, but I went anyway. Halfway through the meal, he leaned back and studied me. Not in a curious way, in a knowing way. You look like something just ended, he said. I didn't ask how he knew, because I think people always know when something inside you breaks. I told him, not everything, just enough. He nodded slowly. Then he said something I didn't expect. Don't chase someone who already chose to leave. It sounded simple, almost too simple, but it sat with me. That night, I walked into the house again, and for the first time, I noticed how much of it was designed around her. The art, the colors, even the way the living room was arranged. I wasn't just losing a person. I was losing a version of my life that no longer existed. 3 days passed, then 5, then 7. No calls, no explanations, no closure, just distance. On the 8th day, she came back. Not to stay, just to collect more of her things. She looked different, not happier, but lighter. And that realization hit harder than anything else. We stood in the living room, two people who used to share everything, now negotiating silence. She avoided my eyes at first. Then finally, she looked at me. I didn't expect you to just let me go, she said. There it was. The part she couldn't say out loud when she left. She wanted freedom, but she also wanted to feel chosen. Before we go further, tell me honestly, would you have fought for her in that moment? Or would you have done exactly what Daniel did and stepped back? I took a breath. I didn't let you go, I said. You already left. Her expression shifted. Not anger, not sadness, something closer to recognition. She sat down slowly, like the weight of that sentence finally caught up with her. I thought maybe she started, then stopped, because whatever she thought, it no longer applied. That was the moment the dynamic changed. Not loudly, not dramatically, but definitively. For the first time, I wasn't the one trying to hold something together. I was the one deciding whether it should be held at all. She stayed for about an hour, packing, moving quietly through rooms that no longer belonged to her in the same way. At the door, she hesitated. Daniel, she said. I waited. I don't know if I'm making a mistake. And there it was. Not a confession, not a reversal, just uncertainty. I could have stepped in right there. I could have offered reassurance. I could have given her a reason to stay, but I didn't. Then you should figure that out, I said calmly. She nodded, not because she agreed, but because she understood. And then she left again. This time, it felt different. Not like something was taken from me, but like something had been returned. The following weeks were quiet, but not empty. I started noticing things I had ignored before. How often I had adjusted myself to keep the peace. How many conversations I avoided. How much of my life had been built around not losing her. And ironically, that's exactly how I lost her. A month later, she called. I let it ring once, then twice. Then I answered. Her voice was softer, less certain. "Can we talk?" she asked. We met at a cafe downtown. Neutral ground. She looked at me like she was trying to figure out who I had become in the past few weeks. "I ended things with him," she said. I didn't react immediately. Not because I didn't care, but because I wasn't sure what that meant anymore. I thought he would make me feel something, she continued. But it wasn't what I expected. I nodded slowly. "And now?" I asked. She hesitated. "I don't know what I want," she admitted. And that honesty, for the first time, felt real. Not strategic. Not rehearsed. Just real. Before we continue, if you were in Daniel's position, would you take her back knowing she left once? Or would you walk away for good? I looked at her for a long moment. Not at the version of her I remembered, but at the person sitting in front of me now. "I'm not the same person you left," I said. She swallowed. "I know, and I don't think you are either." She nodded again. We sat in silence. Not awkward, just honest. "I'm not angry at you," I said finally, "but I'm also not waiting anymore." That was the truth I had been building toward without realizing it. She didn't argue. She didn't try to convince me. Because deep down, I think she knew this wasn't about punishment. It was about consequence. Real, quiet, irreversible consequence. We finished our coffee, and then we stood up. No dramati gudvie, no promises. Just two people acknowledging that something had ended, not in chaos, but in clarity. As I walked away, I didn't feel victorious. I didn't feel broken. I felt aligned. And for the first time in a long time, that was enough.